The current economic conditions are making young Americans extremely angry and frustrated. Previous generations assured them that if they worked hard, made good choices, stayed in line, and received good grades, they would be able to live the American dream. Millennials and Generation Z were told not to worry about accumulating massive amounts of student loan debt because there would be good jobs waiting for them once they graduated. That turned out to be a lie, as nearly half of them are now living paycheck to paycheck and struggling to cover basic expenses. Indeed, we now have the highest proportion of adults living with their parents since the Great Depression, and younger generations will continue to lag financially because they cannot afford to buy a home and begin accumulating wealth on their own. Today, statistics show that Millennials and Generation Z are facing far worse economic conditions than previous generations. 1. When it comes to retirement savings, young Americans lag behind previous generations. According to the most recent Fidelity Retirement Savings Assessment Study, Millennials' retirement savings rates will be 7.5% in 2022, down from an average of 9.7% among previous generations. According to researcher Alicia Mennel, today's young Americans have a lower net wealth to income ratio than their parents did at the same age. 2. The study also discovered that 62% of millennials owe more in debt than they do in personal savings accounts. Only about 21% of people have more money in savings than they owe in debt. 3 out of every 10 millennials have less than $1,000 in personal savings. 3. According to U.S. Census Bureau data, 40% of millennial households between the ages of 28 and 38 had student loan debt that exceeded 40% of their income. On average, millennials have a balance of $38,877 per borrower, accounting for approximately 31.94% of total student loan debt. 4. In fact, young Americans are carrying the most debt. 3 out of every 4 millennials in the United States are in debt. According to an NBC News Gen Forward survey released in June, a quarter of millennials are over $30,000 in debt, and around 11% are over $100,000 in debt. 5. Credit card debt burdens millennials' finances more than student loans. A new report from the online marketplace for financial services, according to CompareCards.com, 2 out of every 3 millennials have credit card debt, which is more than double the number who has student loans. According to the report, only 13% of millennial credit card holders are completely debt-free. 6. With so many financial setbacks, it's no surprise that roughly half of young Americans, or about 4 to 5%, believe they will never have the things they want in life because of their financial situation. According to Morning Consult's Q1 2022 State of Consumer Banking and Payments report, 38% of millennials frequently feel behind on their finances, which is about 13 percentage points higher than the average. 7. Financial health among younger generations continues to lag behind the national average. Morning Consult's research revealed the consumer's average financial well-being score for millennials. To track financial security and freedom of choice across different population segments over time, the Financial Protection Bureau scores 47.05 out of 100, compared to 50.81 out of 100 for the average American. 8. When it comes to home ownership, young adults lag behind previous generations. The average baby boomer purchased their first home at the age of 25. Millennials, on the other hand, are expected to buy their first home at the age of 35. 9. As a result, the proportion of millennials who expect to rent forever has nearly doubled in 2 years to more than 1/5. According to an annual report from Apartment List, the proportion of millennial renters who say they will never own a home has risen to 22%, up from 12.3% in 2021 and 10.7% in 2010. All of this is having an effect on their ability to start a family. Today's young Americans are starting families later than previous generations, with only 46% of millennials married compared to 83% of adults who were married in 1970. If current trends continue, an estimated 1 in 4 of today's young adults will never marry by the time they reach their mid-40s to early 50s, a record high proportion. For more such informative videos, subscribe to our channel and like the video. See you in the next video.